Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play. This time around, it is Mario's Time Machine for the Super Nintendo. Brought to you by the software Toolworks. I had this game back when I was a kid, and I didn't really have the patience for this one, much like Mario is missing. Now that I'm much older, I do now. And just like Mario was missing, this is an edutainment game. You will be learning things as you do things in the game. And this is actually the second part, but this is part 1. That's because in part 0 I showed you how to play the game normally, in case you don't really know all the answers just like that, because you kind of didn't remember everything that you learned in history class and whatnot. From this part forward, from 1 until the end of the game, I'm going to just rip and tear through this. Kind of like how I did with Mario Was Missing for Super Nintendo. I didn't show off every clue in that game, I didn't talk to everybody. As soon as I realized where I was, I got Yoshi down there, and then I got the clues, and then I still read the newspapers because you still need those for the questions in that game. But enough about that. It's time to start the adventure. You can continue onward with the password, but we're just going to start an adventure. So let's go. Now, as I mentioned in part 0, you are collecting things back from Bowser, going to the proper time period and place that they came from, doing a bunch of homework, and bringing the item back to the historical figure that it is associated with. I mentioned all the controls for this game in part 0, how to do everything, so refer to that if you need to. We're just going straight into this. And here's Cambridge 1687. I am going to do all of these floors from left to right, pedestal-wise, because that's how you get the best ending. And because we did this part in part 0, I am going to be able to answer all these questions right away. It's not what I wanted. I should have pressed right on the D-pad. Let's see. 3 laws of motion, physics, and astronomy. There we go. He also discovered the spectrum of white light, and the first reflecting telescope. Young age of 30, and the Principia. As mentioned in part 0, you do have to talk to people to get all the facts so you can complete all the homework. But thankfully, I showed off how to do that in part 0. And therefore, I have all the answers already. Everything else is up to me. So let's press L. Let's go to Cambridge. Maybe I should have pressed up. Get to that a little sooner. How about that? There we go. And 1687. At least I remember where this is. And we're already set to AD, so as soon as I give the A button a press, there we go. Now it's time to get 10 mushrooms without touching a fireball. If you touch a fireball, you lose all your mushrooms. I didn't exactly say that you lost all your mushrooms in part 0, but, well, that should have been pretty obvious. That you would lose all of your fireballs or lose all your mushrooms if you did touch the fireball. And those 4 bonus points that I had in the surfing, I was able to use them here. And of course, we've seen all this already in part 0. This was all part of the prologue, but it's all very much part of the prologue. I'm not really going to stop to read much of anything. Unless it's the homework, obviously, and There is a password. I will leave it there for those of you who want to follow along. I guess I'm just tearing through this game like crazy, though you may get a better or worse score than I do depending on how fast your reflexes are. So, with that said, let's go ahead and grab the... No. I mean, I know where this is, but not yet. Getting a little further ahead of ourselves. The idea that a mere 17-year-old can inspire hardened soldiers to win battle after battle during France and England's 100 Years' War is amazing. That Joan of Arc was an illiterate 15th century farm girl makes it only more astounding. Driven to change her world by visions and voices of three saints, Joan led French troops against the English in an effort to expel them from her country. Armed with the sword... St. Catherine, and clad in custom-made armor, Joan led an army of... Ooh, boy. Well, it's not going to be 30, I know that. Once you use a answer in a list, it is never used in the rest of the homework for the rest of the stages. You never use it in any other stage. I'm going to say 4,000. There it is. Joan led an army of 4,000 men to a decisive victory, lifting the siege to the city of Orleans. Joan's soldiers routed the enemy repeatedly and eventually took back enough land to allow the Dauphin to be crowned king. Let's see here. Philip is Spanish, so that's out. It's not David. Okay. It is Charles VII. Okay. King Charles VII of France, the Cathedral of Reims. Before the Maid of Orleans could complete her task, however, she fell into the hands of the English. Tried and convicted of heresy, Joan, still true to her belief, or her purpose, was martyred in 1431. Later cleared of the charges, Joan of Arc was made a saint by the Catholic Church in 1920. So let's get out of here, and where was it again? 1420 something? 1429. Alright. So let's go ahead and press down here a little bit, a couple times. Just keep holding down until we get to Orleans. As opposed to New Orleans. At least we know where Old Orleans is. 1429 AD. Let's go ahead and grab some mushrooms. Now hopefully I can grab some mushrooms as quickly as possible. Thought I would grab that one mushroom I missed, but apparently not. There we go. Did it in less time than last time. Now, we could go to all the tents and I'll talk to all the people there, but we need to go all the way to the right, press X, we'll go into this little clearing, and we will be able to give this to Joan of Arc. We finally gave Joan of Arc her shield back. And the only reason she knows who Mario is because his name came to her in a vision. Ha 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 ha! Hope I'm not going too slow. The more points you have, the better the ending of the two good ones that you'll get. And there is a password right there. So, I'm going to keep that up for a little bit. And done. I'm going to keep all these videos at least 20 minutes. As I do these videos. Because you never know how many of these I might do in one video, so I'll just kind of keep it at least at 20 like I always do. One of the most versatile geniuses in history, Leonardo da Vinci took his name from the village of Vinci, where he was born on April 15th. Well, it's going to be one of these two. 1452. Thought so. He lived during a period of artistic and intellectual reawakening called the Renaissance, which followed a period known as the Middle Ages. Where's the Renaissance? The 1,000-year slumber known as the Middle Ages. A talented child, Leonardo apprenticed as a painter in... Okay, it's a place. Florence, and later worked in Milan and Rome. I'm glad I remembered that. He was employed by a series of wealthy patrons, and his interests extended far beyond painting. Leonardo was also a sculptor, architect, engineer, musician, scientist, and inventor. A perfect example of a Renaissance man. Renaissance is on 2 separate lists, that's why I'm using it twice. His famous notebooks used backwards handwriting for security purposes and were full of ideas that would not be realized for almost 500 years. His sketches included hang gliders, helicopters, parachutes, tanks, machine guns, submarines, and diving gear. Leonardo's fresco of the Last Supper and his portrait of Mona Lisa, also known as La Gioconda, rank among the most famous pictures ever painted. Florence, 1505. So, we need to go to the time machine again. I don't know exactly where Florence is, so I'm just going to keep holding down until I get to it. Guyana, the Pacific. Ooh. There it is. Oh, it was near Cambridge. No wonder. And it doesn't really matter which direction I hold up or down on the control pad for the last number. Florence 1505. There we go. And I'm seem to be batting 1,000 on all of these. I just need to make sure that I can hit the portal when I see it. 12 seconds this time. Alright then. And which is the door that I need to go to? There are doors you can go to talk to people, but this big white one is where you find Da Vinci. I should have known I could count on a fellow Italian. And of course, it's a subtle, enigmatic smile that is on the Mona Lisa. I'm just blowing through all the text here because I can. I don't really see a reason to read the text because I want to go through this as fast as possible, and reading through stuff does take time, even if you can't see the timer. So I might as well go ahead and leave this third password up for a little while longer. I do like the graphics here, by the way. I do love the evening sky here and how pixelated it is. I mean, they did the best they could with the system limitations that they had. This was 1993, 1994. This was the Super Nintendo. Seemed like it would never end. And no! Well, I know it's in Vienna, 1824, now that I see it. I just need to finish the homework first. Arguably the greatest composer who ever lived, Ludwig van Beethoven spent most of his life in the Austrian music capital of Vienna. Born in 1770, Ludwig gave his first piano concert at age 8. Soon recognized as a master pianist, he is said to have met Wolfgang Mozart, no Amadeus here, in 1787. His talents turned towards composing, however, when the ear problems he had suffered from for years worsened and he became totally deaf. It is perhaps because of his handicap that he became such an original composer. Able only to imagine the music he created, Beethoven dared to ignore musical convention. I mean, how will you know convention if you don't hear it? Although he lived in the... where is it? What's the word I'm thinking of? The palace of his royal patron and was admired the world over, Beethoven was said to have a bad temper, messy habits, and a mean tongue. Well, I can understand the whole messy habits thing as part of the whole genius bit. This perhaps explains why he never married. He completed his first symphony in 1800. beginning a cycle which reached its peak with the presentation of his masterpiece, the Ninth Symphony in 1824. I got a little ahead of myself. When he passed away in 1827, he had published approximately 200 works. So Vienna, 1824, we will tackle it in this video. It's left and right, not up and down. Come on. And 1824. So let's get that last number, 1824. Let's get over there to the time surfing thing. And it makes me wonder where this is. Is this another dimension? And if so, why does it look like this? I'd expect it to be like just not having much of a temperature and just being like a bunch of lights in like the middle of a dark infinite space. That would probably be just me though. I wouldn't expect it to look like this. Would probably be at least rather warm, and you can surf anywhere, but there's no land. It's Here I Go, isn't it? Yes, it is. Let's pick the second option, give him the nice stuff. And when Mario says he likes his music, Mozart said, you must be from the future then. The critics hate me. I might as well just go ahead and paraphrase everything that's gone on. I mean, it's not like I've played this game a zillion times. Does this game exactly need the Mario license? I don't think so. Like, this could have been done without the Mario license. And I've left the password on there for long enough. And let's pick this up and press R this time. Let's see here. We start this off with a blank. Is it Thomas Jefferson? Yes, it is. Thomas Jefferson was born in Virginia in 1743. By the way, those white pixels right there to the left, I believe that is Mario's glove holding the book. I'm not sure, though. It may be. He became a leader in the Virginia House of Burgesses. Or Burgesses. In his famous paper, A Summary View of the Rights of British America, he insisted that colonial ties with England were voluntary. That's it. What he lacked as a public speaker... Let me get the speaker real quick. What he lacked as a public speaker was certainly made up for by his powerful writing. For this reason, Jefferson was chosen to write the Declaration of Independence, the document that gave birth to the United States on July 4th, 1776. And I went too far back, but... well, we've remedied that now. You can see the white pixels to the left moving to the right. Maybe that's not his hand. Or maybe it is his hand and just holding the book in place. Maybe he's just sitting down. Or on one knee. Heartbroken over the untimely passing of his young wife Martha in 1782, Jefferson never married again. In his political career, he served as the governor of Virginia, the first Secretary of State, the second Vice President, and the third President of the United States. Returning to the home he had designed, his beloved Monticello, he later became the founder of the University of Virginia. The scientist, it's not going to be an architect, it's not going to be a composer. I will leave farmer for later. Not a playwright. Not a scribe. I'm probably going to say he's a farmer. That's the only one that makes sense here. Yep. Architect and statesman, Jefferson's personal library became the nucleus of the U.S. Library of Congress. That's not exactly true. The Library of Congress was created without it, but it wasn't until later that it was added. It is still an important part of the Library of Congress, nevertheless. And no, we don't need to answer questions again. No. So Philadelphia, 1776, that's really easy to remember if you are from America. Very much this American gamer here, obviously. I think I've mentioned I am from the United States in the past in some of my videos. I believe I mentioned it in Terra Enigma. I may have not. I don't even remember. But let's just go to Philadelphia 76. Well, that was not going to be a thing. And wow, I'm just pushing it with some of these turns now. Maybe I should actually keep a thumb on the L button. How about that? I don't even keep a thumb on the L button or the shoulder buttons at all. Oh, I have all the things I need. Yeah, I don't even keep a finger on the shoulder buttons at all because you don't necessarily need them. And we need to go into here, this little area right here. Select the second option and bring back the Declaration of Independence. It should be noted that things will move in the scene. And Thomas Jefferson mentions Mount Rushmore unintentionally, or intentionally, saying that Mario's face may be carved onto a mountain for what we have done for him, bringing back the Declaration of Independence. And we have a big old score that we can finally tally up. And I just now realize I've been going for more than 20 minutes. And we've already completed the first floor of the game. That's something. So I might as well go ahead and leave this up for a little while. And now. So now that we've completed everything, and we've lit up all these lights one by one above the door, we can just approach the door. Mario will go up to the door automatically, and you will come out through this door to another area where we have 5 more things to collect. And we get music that sounds a little more sinister. At least the Koopa Kids are still on the walls, though. That's a thing. But join me next time where we go through the second floor, or as much of it as we can, and blow through the homework. I may not be able to remember as much next time around as I did this time. We shall see. Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!